Hi all. Today we are looking at section 2.3 and our third macroeconomic objective, economic growth. We'll start with a definition, and this is one of the easiest but most important definitions there is. It is almost guaranteed that this will be asked in every exam session. It is an increase in real GDP. That's all we need to know. Economic growth is an increase in real GDP. There are two ways we can get economic growth. It can be an increase in actual output, so an increase in the goods and services produced within a country's borders, or it can be an increase in potential output, an increase in the amount of goods and services that we can potentially produce in an economy. I want you to have a go at drawing each of these concepts on a PPC diagram. Pause now and do this. Here we are. I hope that you are able to label the axes correctly. An increase in actual output caused by an increase in productive efficiency or a decrease in unemployment is shown by the shift from a point inside the curve to a point further out. A shift in potential output caused by an increase in the quantity or quality of factors of production shifts the whole curve outwards. We're mostly concerned with increasing the potential output of the economy, as eventually an economy increasing its actual output will be constrained by its potential. So we need to shift this out. Investment in capital is therefore hugely important to economic growth. The three types of capital that we look at are related to the four resource types we learnt about earlier in the year. Human capital is the labour and entrepreneurship resources, the people, skills, knowledge, health. Physical capital is the capital resource, and natural capital is the land resource. Investment in the three types of capital is about increasing the quantity and quality of resources in an economy. The quantity of human capital is mostly increased in Australia through migration, due to our low birth rate. Also, the management of migration increases the quality of human resources, due to our focus on skilled migration. Education, of course, can increase our productivity by increasing our skills in communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. The healthier we are, the longer we work, and the more productively we work. Think of when you're healthy. You don't miss days at school, and you can think more clearly. Investment in health and education can be done both by the government and through private means. Physical capital refers to machinery, tools, and infrastructure available. Investment in this type of capital means that we can produce more than we could before. It could be machinery like here in the picture, invested in privately, increasing the number of cars possibly produced, or it could be public investment in road infrastructure, like is happening in Darlington, removing bottlenecks and decreasing costs of production for firms. Investment in natural capital is minimising the destruction of it. Natural capital being natural resources, waterways, forests, fish stocks, etc. Natural resources are a huge source of growth, but unmanaged, the exploitation of these resources may mean only growth in the short term until they are depleted. There needs to be sustainability, as is the goal of the River Murray Basin Plan, which aims to ensure the prosperity of our major river system for generations to come. Now, why do we care about growth? Growth is good because we get to meet more of our needs and wants. More growth equals more income to satisfy needs and wants. It should also lead to less poverty. Governments should receive greater tax revenue when we have more growth. You can see what has happened here to tax revenues in Australia in the last 2008 to 2016. There's been continuous growth in Australia and tax revenues have grown as well. Growth can lead to higher environmental standards as we get richer. We can afford to care more, essentially. This can be shown in Australia by Woolworths recently succumbing to public pressure to no longer sell single-use plastic straws. The more goods and services we are producing, the more people should be needed to produce them, meaning less unemployment. As we learned previously, the competition in a free market, or mixed, economy can lead to innovations. Firms will always want to find ways to meet consumer demand and also do things cheaper so they can produce and sell more. Examples of this are the Roomba, a little robot vacuum cleaner that goes around and vacuums while you're out, or drone delivery. On the cost side, we can get environmental degradation if we do not have sustainable policies in place. We could see things like overfishing leading to extinction and mining leading to the loss of arable land. Affluence can also lead to new types of stress. We have so many choices now due to our growth that fear of missing out, or FOMO, is now a thing. Some question how much better off we actually are with the opportunities and increased incomes that growth has led to. Demand pull inflation. If we have a growth in actual output of the economy, this can be from an increase in aggregate demand. If you draw this on an ADS diagram, it can lead to inflation. So we get the issues that can come from inflation, as we've studied previously. And then there are the social costs. Inequality is an issue we will tackle in the next section. Growth does not necessarily mean growth for all. So it can lead to wide disparities in income within a society. This inequality can mean increased tensions and a loss of social cohesion. Another social cost is obesity. With more and more resources at our disposal, there are many opportunities for excess. If our richest societies are also our most obese, are they really richer? Okay, that's all for this section. Make sure you have a clear understanding of the concepts, and we'll work through some questions in a bit greater depth in class.